The story begins in the royal capital of Paluma, where some demi-humans were putting boxes in the cargo. A man tells them to hurry up, otherwise, he will beat the hell out of them. A merchant named Benaza arrives and thanks them for filling all of his cargo's boxes. He gives them the money for their work and asks them to wait inside the hotel and enjoy the meal before another of his cargo comes in. The other mechans think he's a weirdo who is giving money to demi-humans, who are considered lowly humans in this world. One of the demi-humans thanks him for his generosity towards them but declines to take the money. Benaza says they deserve this money as they have earned it with their hard work. He reveals he does not believe in this human and demi-human crap and hands him over the money. The leader thanks him, and they decide to head to the hotel to get some food before the other cargo arrives. As they left, the other merchants called him a hypocrite who treats humans and demi-humans equally. Benaza wishes to make this world a place where humans and demi-humans can get along, but his maid says he is the only one in this town who thinks so. Suddenly, he feels something strange in his body and wonders what it could be. A light covers his body, and he vanishes in front of his maid. His maid looks behind and wonders where Benaza is, but it turns out he is Isekai'd to another world, into the magical kingdom of Clyrode. One of the saints of the kingdom welcomes him and reveals that they have summoned him as a hero candidate. The saint tells him that a dark army is about to invade their kingdom, and they were summoning heroes from another world to assist them in this battle. Benaza says he's not a hero but just a simple merchant who lived a peaceful life in his world. They didn't believe in him and asked him to put his hand on the magic crystal ball so that they could measure his magical powers. They believe the heroes who were summoned from another world receive divine blessings from gods, and their powers are so immense that no ordinary person can acquire them simply by training. Benaza puts his hand on the ball, and his magic stats show up. But everyone gets shocked at the sight of the stats and realizes the hero is not blessed with divine revelation, as these are the stats of a completely ordinary man. Benaza says this was expected, as he already told them that he was a merchant. The other saints can't believe the hero is summoned with the lowest skills of level 1 and wonder what went wrong in the ancient summoning spell. Suddenly, one of the summoners receives a divine revelation from the gods, and each of his level 1 skills is maxed out at 999 points. They realize this man is the hero they have been waiting for and request that he save their country with his immense magic. Benaza asked them to send him back to his old world, as he did not want to stay here, but the people didn't pay any attention and left him alone, wandering in the castle. At first, he doesn't believe he's in another world, but then he realizes that he has to meet with the king to clear up his doubts. He asks the king, and his retainer reveals that he was summoned to this world through a gate that has already been closed and cannot be opened again. Benaza is surprised and wonders how he will be able to return to his world. But the retainer reveals his world doesn't have enough mana power, which is used to open a new gate. They gave him permission to live in their world and offered him a place in the Delevza forest, but with the condition that he would not tell anyone about the blunder they had made. The king then rejects him as a hero and sends him to the Delevza forest. On the way, he asks the demi-human, who was transporting him, about this world, and the demi-human reveals that he was asked not to speak with him until he lands him in the forest. Benaza thinks the demi-human is a slave just like in his world, but the demi-human laughs it out with the revelation that there's no such thing in this world. In fact, all humans and demi-humans live together in this world. They arrive in the Delevza forest, and the demi-human gives him a bottomless bag, which the king told him to give to Benaza. Benaza is glad to see the bottomless bag in this world too, and the demi-human reveals it has all the necessary things inside, including money and food, which will help him last a while in this world. The demi-human decides to leave the area and offered Benaza an advice to leave this forest as soon as possible, if he wishes to live a long life. Benaza is shocked but decides to shove it away, as he believes he does not know any place in this kingdom to go. He opens the bag and is glad that it worked, just like in his world. He looks at the stats and the things he received as a gift from the king. He decides to take out a sword in case of an emergency, but gets surprised to see some slime appear behind them. He believes the slimes are lowly creatures and they will not attack him, but he takes them with his sword after they try to merge with his body. Suddenly, the stats show up and reveal he's leveled up from level 1 to level 2. Benaza can't believe his sight, as he was told that the maximum level in this world is level 1. The stats show him his level 2 powers and the skills with the points, but he gets surprised at the infinite sign and wonders what that could be. Suddenly, he realized that he had acquired a new skill that he could use to talk with the system. He immediately activates it, and the system starts telling him about the magic spells he has acquired by leveling up. Banaza can't believe he has acquired so many spells just by killing those lowly slimes, but he decides to head to the forest to find a safe place where he can protect himself. The system warns him not to go as the Delavza forest is contaminated with a high concentration of Melicium. Banaza asks about it, and the system reveals that Melicium is a generic term for liquid or gaseous substances emitted and dispersed by demons that cause harm to humanoid races. However, the system says it can clear it up for him if he wants, but the spell it will use will consume 1/3 of his magic. Banaza doesn't care about his magic and asks it to do so. The system does so and purifies the forest with an immense magic circle. Banaza can't believe how powerful the magic was, but he gets surprised when the system tells him that he has leveled up. Meanwhile, inside the royal palace, the first princess is mad at the king for not treating the summoned hero candidate properly, and thinks that if they don't look after him, he will be killed at the hands of the Dark Army. The king doesn't care about Banaza and says he was a piece of trash who couldn't become their hero. Suddenly, one of the saints arrives and reveals they have found evidence that the highest holy magic of all, purification, was used recently. At first, the king believed the golden-haired hero must have used the spell, but he gets shocked after the saint reveals that it was used in the Delavza forest in the north. At the forest, Banaza looks at the stats and can't believe he's leveled up without killing any monsters. He believes he can level up by using magic in this world and asks the system to show his remaining magic. The system does so, and he can't believe all of his magic has been fully restored. The system then recommends him a shapeshift magic, believing it will be a handful for him. Banaza agrees, and the system transforms him into a hot girl. Banaza looks at the size and believes it will cause a lot of problems for him. The system then transforms him into a man whom he feels is great, and believes no one will recognize him in this. The system also informs him that he can use teleportation magic, and he asks it to do so by teleporting him back into the kingdom. The system does so, and Banaza is glad that he has this amazing magic too, but gets sad after realizing that it cannot transport him back to his own world. He then decides to head to the Adventure Guild so that he can register himself as an adventurer and earn money by completing the given quests. He enters the guild, and the guild lady informs him about the rules of registration. She asks him about his name, and he hides his identity by revealing that his name is Fleo. The lady hands him a badge and tells him to keep it around himself, as it is used to determine an adventurer's rank. Fleo does so and heads to the board to find a quest of his rank, but gets surprised after seeing a little girl, who is asking others to escort her to the Delavza forest. The girl is willing to pay for this quest and reveals her family lives there. But none of the adventurers is willing to take this job as they believe the Delavza forest is filled with demons whom they cannot defeat. Fleo takes her offer and agrees to take her there. The girl can't believe this and thinks he's lying, but Fleo says he can take her there with his teleportation spell. The other adventurers are shocked at this revelation and can't believe this kid can use a legendary spell, which caused Fleo to realize the teleportation spell is not for beginners. A royal knight, Belirasa, arrives along with her friends and asks Fleo to prove his words. She says the teleportation spell is an advanced spell that can only be used by high-level sorcerers. Her friends believe he's a bad guy who is into girls, but Fleo says he's not lying and asks them to come outside, as it will not be good for him to show a teleportation spell in front of all the adventurers. The group does so, and Fleo immediately transports them to the Delavza forest with his teleportation spell. The girls are shocked at this and believe he must be a sorcerer of the highest order. Belirasa apologizes to him for not believing in his words and being rude to her, but gets surprised after the girl reveals that the Melicium in the forest is gone. Suddenly, as Fleo begins to reveal that he was the one who purified this forest, the system informs him not to share information with the demons. All the girls surround the little girl with their weapons, and Belirasa reveals that the little girl is a demon who is using a spell to hide her true form. They begin to attack her, but the little girl transforms into her demon form and reveals that her name is Fenris, and she is the younger sister of Fengaril of the Infernal Four. Belirasa can't believe they are in the presence of a powerful demon lupine, and realizes that they are no match for her. Fenris immediately shoots her Melicium towards them, and all the girls fall before they can counter it. But she is surprised that her Melicium has no effect on Fleo. She gets mad and tries to eat them up, but Fleo saves their lives by sending them back to the kingdom with teleportation magic. He then decides to fight her alone and declares that he will use all of his magic spells to defeat her. Suddenly, Fleo activates all the available magic spells in the system and shoots them towards the Fenris. She dodges most of the attacks and tries to counter them with her magic, but Fleo traps her inside his powerful gravitational spell. Fenris tries to free herself from his gravitational spell with the help of powerful spells of her own. But none of them has any effect on his spell, as every time she tries, the system cancels it immediately. The system recommends he use a subjugation spell, as it will help him control the body and mind of the Fenris. Fleo turns it down by saying that he never used those kinds of spells in his past life and does not intend to use them here too, as he does not want someone to become his slave. Fenris tries hard to break free from his spell, but the aura of the spell is very powerful, and she has no choice but to give up. She asks Fleo to take her life, believing that a fallen warrior does not have a place to live in this world. However, Fleo shuts her down by revealing that he has no intention of killing her. Fenris says she's a demon and has killed so many humans in the past, and if he sets her free, she will do it again in the near future. Fleo replies to her by saying that humans and demons do not mean anything to him, as he treated both of them equally in the past and has no desire to kill someone who has already surrendered to him. This act of kindness transforms her back to her human form, and Fleo gives her some clothes to cover her body, which he took out of his bottomless bag. However, before she can wear them off, she passes out due to using most of her magic. At night, Fleo looks at the system and can't believe he possesses so many powerful magic spells. He wonders why he's blessed with those spells, but Fenris wakes up from her unconsciousness and quickly greets him. She thanks him for sparing her life and healing her wounds while she was in sleep. She reveals that if she had fought with someone else and then lost, they would have killed her or skinned her body. She says she has never seen a kind man like him in her whole life, and then acknowledges him as her master. She promises him that she will not hurt any human in the future and will repay this debt with her life. Fleo does not believe in this kind of crap and tells her she's free and can go anywhere she wants. Fenris insists she wants to stay with him, even if he treats her like a lowly slave, but Fleo still says no to her. This caused her to transform into her beast form and try to kill herself, believing that her life has no purpose. But Fleo quickly falls for her and tells her to stop it, as he will allow her to travel with him. This revelation makes her happy, and she quickly hugs her. After that, Fleo informs her about himself, saying that he is not from this world but was Isekai'd to this world as a hero candidate. He even shows her his true look, which he disguised with the help of a shape-shifting spell so that no one can recognize him. However, Fenris still vows to travel with him and asks him to keep her by his side. Meanwhile, in the kingdom, the king asks the hero about the battle with the Dark Army and how most of his knights were defeated. The pathetic hero makes fun of the knights and reveals that they were not strong enough to defeat the mere psychobars, and he was the only one who stood up against them and saved the lives of the remaining knights. The hero then furiously left the king's council, and looking at his behavior, the king asked one of the knights about his performance in the battle. The knight tells him that despite being a hero, he stationed himself at the very back of the knights and ran away while others were fighting against the demons, and even blamed others for his mistakes. The king gets mad at the revelation and looks at the furious hero, who was heading to his royal room. The hero looks at his stats and can't believe that he trained for an entire month, yet his stats haven't increased even a little. He believes these stats are only handy to deal with lowly humans and weak magic beasts, but he cannot defeat the strong magic beasts with them. Suddenly, his hot maid arrives and presents herself for duty. The hero tells her that he's got something for her and takes her to his room. The next day, Fleo and Fenris went to the town to register themselves in the Adventurer Guild so that they could earn money for a living. The shop owner calls them a beautiful couple, and Fleo is amazed at the idea and thinks that in this way, no one will suspect their relationship. Fenris is glad she will become the wife of a powerful person like him, but Fleo shuts her down by saying that they're just pretending to be a couple. They then head inside the Adventurer Guild, and the guild lady asks Fenris about her name so that she can register her in the guild. Fenris tries to reveal her true identity, but Fleo quickly stops her and registers her with the name Rise. Rise apologizes to him for her foolish behavior, and Fleo tells her to be careful, otherwise, people will find out about her. Suddenly, their attention is drawn towards the guild lady, who informs all the adventurers that an urgent quest has come up and they need to defeat a herd of psychobears in the north. She reveals that the bounty for the psychobears is 10 times higher, but everyone hesitates to take this offer as they do not want themselves to fall into the hands of the psychobears who just wiped out the hero's army. Fleo also wants to pass on this offer, but Rise encourages him to take it, as she believes psychobears are no match for him. They then head to the north, and upon reaching there, he is shocked to find that the adventurer party he saved earlier is on the verge of death, as the psychobears are surrounding them. He quickly fires his lightning magic and takes most of them out with it. The remaining one tries to kill Bolano, but Rise arrives and takes it out with a ferocious kick. They then thank Fleo for saving their lives again and reveal that they were worried about him. Fleo is glad that they're okay, but they ask him about Rise, and he introduces her as his companion because he does not want them to find out about her true identity. Those words don't go well with Rise, who wanted him to introduce herself to others as his wife. Just as she falls for the sad slumber, a Psycho Bear arrives from behind and tries to attack her. Fleo yells at her, but Rise gives Psycho Bear a scary look, which causes him to fall to the ground. He then pleads for his life, and Rise decides to make him her pet. Fleo does not agree with the idea, but Rise hesitates and asks him to do it, believing that in this way he will not attack any humans. Fleo activates his shape-shifting spell and transforms him into a cute little Psycho Bear. The adventurer party is shocked at the sight and can't believe in their eyes what they are witnessing. Ballyrossa then takes Fleo and Rise to her hideout and introduces them to her companions. She asks Fleo for a favor and tells him about the hero's army, which was wiped out by a horde of Psycho Bears. She reveals that the hero has locked himself inside a castle and refused to fight the Dark One until he found someone worthy to be his right hand. She says the king has ordered everyone to increase their level to the point where they can defeat a Psycho Bear. She asks Fleo to train them and increase their level so that they can fight alongside the hero. Those words don't go well with Rise, who gets angry and jealousy and wants to kill all of them. Fleo looks at her rage and quickly tells them that she is his wife and will not approve this request. This revelation brought happiness to her, and she quickly agreed to help them out, saying that she knew her husband's feelings about never abandoning those who needed help. The adventure party thanks them for their generosity and then prepares themselves for the training. Meanwhile, in the Dark One castle, Willis informs the Great Dark One that they have investigated the purification spell that was used in the Devavza forest and found out that it was the work of an Unquown individual, not the mages of Clyrode. The Dark One ordered her to capture this unknown individual and bring him to this castle. The next day, Fleo wakes up in a house, which he received from an adventurer's guild as a gift, and is shocked to see Rise in a hot suit in front of him. He wonders why she is in front of him, and Rise informs him about last night and how they shared the same bed in the same room. She wanted to love him and make their marriage official, but Fleo rejected her offer as he did not want their relationship to take it to the next level. Rise asks him to at least give her permission to help him change his clothes, as she wants to be helpful to him. Fleo agrees to her request and gives her permission, and when she tries to do so, Ballyrossa enters their room to remind Fleo of their training but sees them in a crunchy state. She gets shocked at the sight and quickly leaves the room while apologizing for disrupting their romance. Fleo gets mad at the situation and tells Rise to never do this again. He then starts their training, and the adventurers' party is up against a giant boar. They try to take him down with the help of their magic and sword skills, but none of them has any effect on the giant boar. Even Bolano goes unconscious after using most of her magic. Fleo looks at their situation and believes they have a long way to go. After the training, they head to their new home and the girls are happy with the new beds and even thank him for letting him stay inside the house. However, they get interrupted by Rise, who informs them that the food is ready. They head to the dining table but are shocked to see the raw meat. Rise tells them about the benefits of eating raw meat and how it will make a weak body stronger. Fleo is surprised she cooked for them, but then tells her that humans don't eat raw meat. Fleo and Ballyrossa then head to the kitchen and prepare a meal for all of them. The adventurers' party thanks Fleo for making the food, but Fleo tells them that he got help from Ballyrossa. Ballyrossa gets blushed at the revelation and shares that, despite being from a noble family, she's better at cooking than using a sword. Rise looks at the food and can't believe they are actually calling this grass food yummy and healthy for body growth. Fleo asks her to try it out, and when she does, she can't believe how tasty and yummy it is. She also tries the meat and believes it is crispy on the outside and juicy inside, but wonders how grilled meat can be so tasty. Fleo thanks Ballyrossa for making such yummy food for his wife, and Rise tells her that she will make a home-cooked meal for her next time as a token of thanks. Ballyrossa says she will look forward to her, and then they head to the Adventurers Guild. The adventurers are shocked at the sight and can't believe Fleo has killed so many Psycho Bears alone. While they look at the Psycho Bears, Rise asks for his permission, as she has some personal work and wants to go somewhere. Fleo gives her permission and asks if she needs his help, but Rise says she's fine and wants to go alone. The head of the Adventurers Guild, named Lilith, arrives and invites Fleo to his room. He informs him about his fame being spread not only in the guild but also in the entire city, which caused Fleo to believe he overused his magic. However, he gets surprised after Lilith reveals that he received a request from the king. who wants to hire Fleo as an honorary knight and work under the hero. He says the hero is gathering powerful individuals that will help him defeat the Dark One. Lilith says that as a guild owner, he wants him to stay in his guild, but as a human being, he wants him to save the world by helping them with his powers. Fleo thinks for a moment and realizes that he came from another world and has no reason to fight the demons. So, he declines his offer and leaves the guild. On the way, he spots Rise and can't believe how beat up she is. He believes this must be the work of a magical beast, but Rise gives him a smile and thinks to herself that she didn't know cooking was so hard. It turns out that she was taking a cooking class so she could impress her husband. But her first day didn't go well as she burned everything instead of cooking. Meanwhile, the pathetic hero's hot maid informs him about Fleo and Rise and how they are hunting down an unbelievable number of magic beasts. The idiot hero gets impressed at the revelation and tells her to bring them to him at any cost. They sent a royal messenger to Fleo and asked him to join their army, but Fleo denied them by saying that he had no intention to kill any demons. They then head to the adventurers' party and start their daily training. Rise tells Beldo to shoot down the three-eyed birds instead of a wooden tree, believing that it will enhance her arrow skills. However, she hesitates to do it because she does not want to kill a cute bird. Fleo gives Bolano a magic ring and tells her about its powers and how it could increase the magic powers of the wearer. Bolano is surprised at the sudden gift and tries to put it in her heart finger, but Rise arrives and threatens to kill her if she does so. However, her attention gets drawn towards Ballyrossa, who is being attacked by a giant insect and is yelling for Fleo's help. Rise quickly annihilates the insect but gets angry at Ballyrossa and tells her to drop the hopeless act. She believes Ballyrossa is purposely acting weak so that she can draw the attention of Fleo, but Ballyrossa gets horrified at the sight and tells her that she's mistaken. They then head to the house and Rise makes a meal for them. Fleo and the others can't believe how tasty the food is, but Rise tells them that she was taking cooking classes so that she could cook delicious meals for her dear husband. She treats Fleo to chicken curry and is glad that he loves it. They share a heartfelt moment with each other, but they aren't aware that one of the leaders of the Dark Army, Willis, was spying on them. Willis can't believe the powerful Fenris is with a human, but he gets surprised when Rise catches her from behind. She takes her to Fleo, and he treats her to some cake and a hot tea. Willis looks at her behavior and can't believe once a powerful force in the Dark Army is being controlled by this ugly man. Rise informs her that she is married to Fleo, and he is also her master. Willis cannot believe in her words and tries to measure Fleo's powers with her combat analysis magic, but gets surprised after realizing that he cannot read his stats at all. She says this hasn't happened before, and not even the Dark One can hide his stats from her. So, she decides to get to the bottom of this and ask Fleo about the Delavza forest and if he encountered any magic beasts. Fleo says he used a purification spell in the forest so that the magic beasts would stay away from him. This revelation caused her to realize that Fleo was the one who used the purification spell. Even more, she tells Rise that, due to that spell, her brother and his group were wiped out of the forest. Fleo gets shocked at the revelation and can't believe he is the one who killed Rise's brother. He blames himself for this, but Rise tells him not to do so, as he was not the one who killed his brother. It's just that her brother was not strong enough. She says despite this, she will still follow him and devote her life to him. But before Fleo can say anything, their attention gets drawn towards the adventurers' party who was listening to the conversation. The adventurers' party is shocked that Rise is the Fenris who tried to kill them, but Willis quickly challenges Fleo to a fight. She believes Fleo is a threat to the Dark Army and wants to gather all the information about his powers. At first, Fleo hesitates to do it, but she insists, and he agrees to spar with her. They head outside, and Willis quickly fires her poison spell at him, but Fleo dispels it with the blink of an eye. He then traps her inside his crucifixion spell, which causes her to surrender to his immense power. After that, Willis heads to the Dark Castle, and Fleo informs the adventurers' party about the Rise. He tells them that Rise has changed and that she will not attack any human again. This caused them to realize that Rise is not a threat to them anymore, and they vow that they will not tell anyone about her. Suddenly, Willis arrives again, but this time with the army of the dragons, who destroyed many of the armies of this kingdom before. Willis challenges him to a battle, but Fleo gets amazed to see the dragons. He reveals he has never seen a dragon in his whole life and is seeing it for the first time. Willis gets angry at the crap he's talking about and orders all the dragons to kill him, but Fleo shoots the holy magic heavenly hammer spell and wipes them out instantly. Willis gets shocked at this and quickly runs away along with remaining dragons. Blossom can't believe how powerful Fleo is and says she wants the title of Dragon Slayer. Fleo tells her to throw her weapon at them, and when she does, he uses his enhancement magic and kills the running dragon with it. This increases her level and gives her the title of Dragon Slayer. The girls are in awe at this and want the same title for themselves, but Fleo shuts them down by saying that the remaining dragons have flown away. Meanwhile, Lord Gaul gets up from his throne and readies himself to meet Fleo. Like and comment if you enjoy this video. Subscribe to my channel for more anime recaps, and tell me what anime recap you like to see next in the comments below.